Before you go any further, look below and click the subscribe button.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sustainable Growth Podcast. I am excited to have a guest on today that I have stalked on LinkedIn, and I'm not ashamed to say I stalk people. But I stalked her on LinkedIn, watched her for a while, and just saw all the amazing things that she's been doing. And I was like, I need to bring her on. Let's talk, let's chat, and let's, really discuss some things. She is in media, and that is the other thing that intrigued me by her. And she recently received some accolades that we'll talk about later. All of these things put together, I was like, let's just bring her on. So, welcome, Centrell. Thank you so much for taking the time to jump on sustainable growth today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Melissa. Love working and talking with women, powerful women in media, and just how we tell our stories and how we approach that differently. So, plus, I mean, there's nothing wrong with a woman who's doing big things as a CEO of her own platform. So, kudos to you. Hats off to you. I'm always excited to sit down and have a chat.
Thank you so much, and huge congrats to you as well. You just recently received the IEP proclamation, and you are a mentor with Goldman Sachs. So huge things. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate being recognized for some of the things that I've been doing for a very, very long time. I think we all understand how that is. I've been mentoring probably since I was 14, and I'm 25 again. So, it's been at least a decade.
Mhm.
So just being asked, I think is an honor. We go through a number of the things we do behind the scenes because we enjoy doing them. I think it's important for me as an individual to seek opportunities to grow. When I was in corporate America, I always sought my mentors, my sponsors, those people that were going to develop me into the next level. I saw them doing things and I wanted to emulate that. And so I wanted to be that resource for other people. And I have done that for young people, for business owners, for other women, just quietly on the sidelines, as well as kind of taking it to the next level and done a little bit of business coaching, or what I would consider more like situational coaching for the things that we experience in life to help us thrive, make better decisions. I'm really big on building a better you, which essentially is just sharing the things that I've done and taking some of the gems from other people's lives and how I've incorporated it. So to get that invitation for Goldman Sachs, 1 million Black women businesses, to help mentor as they grow, because I know what that journey looks like, was pretty much an honor. That it's indescribable, and we have so much work to do, and we'll continue to do that work. And then one of the other hats I wear is the president of the International Entertainment Partnership. And we are in Greater Houston right now, yet I see expansion and vision throughout all underserved markets where entertainment can be an economic driver for creating jobs and opportunities. And through two mayoral administrations, we have worked. This organization is 5.5 years old. And this past year, we received a proclamation in our own day in the city of Houston for all of the efforts and all of the initiatives that we have pushed, from entertainment speaker series, collaborative opportunities with other organizations that are focused on entertainment as an industry here, focused on TV, film, art, theater, esports, gaming, music, fashion, photography, every sector that makes up a vibrant entertainment industry. There is an organization here that's fostering that. And the IEP is an organization that helps to bring those folks together and create even greater resources with our business stakeholders, investment stakeholders, and those that are in the creative space. So all of those things are akin to what I do, even as the president of Cree Global Media. We build collaborations and we connect your media brand, and you'll find me doing that in all of those roles.
I knew that was the reason I was following behind you. I just knew it. I was
Link arms, because we can use all of the amazing people that we can get.
Yeah. I mean, just everything that you laid out is not only amazing, but, all the different areas where, it is needed. And having someone to be in that space and being able to talk to you today and have, my audience and everybody else that's watching this to say, oh, I didn't know that exists. Oh, I didn't know anything about this. And then to have someone not only to talk about it, but right here in Houston to get connected and to move on those different things that they may be trying to work on. So huge, huge, huge congratulations and kudos to you. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yet I will tell you, with much reward comes a lot of responsibility. It's like every time you pick up something new, just know that's the next level of responsibility. There's definitely work that comes with all of
Yes,
that. So
it
yeah.
is. You talked a little bit about mentoring and, not only being a part of Goldman Sachs, but just mentoring itself. Can you talk a little bit more about what, not only what it is, but the importance of having a mentor as you grow in your professional career or as a business owner?
For sure. So, mentoring, I believe, is really first starting a conversation. One of the things that I pride myself on, and I believe it's probably one of my gifts, is communication. And that's a part of what I do with Pre Global Media and helping people to find their audience and helping them to
Mhm.
communicate their message, tell their story. And when you're mentoring someone, essentially you're telling your story and you're helping them to find what those bits and pieces of knowledge, those gems, some of the pitfalls, all of those things that you've gone through that are relevant to them. They're asking those questions in a journey that they probably have not even gotten to some of the places that you've been, and you're helping them so that they can go along that journey in a much better way. And mentoring could be industry specific. It could just be that you want someone who has a little bit of wisdom and they can impart that upon you. It could be something that you have within corporate or jobs or things of that nature where people are just guiding you along. Different from what I would say is coaching, where coaching is very specific. It should be very specific. It should be even more measured than mentoring, because you are saying, okay, I've got financial goals. I've got, sales goals. I have training my staff or development goals. Where are the best places to get those resources? How do I level up or get to the next stage? It could be for investment purposes or getting more capital for your business. You start, or operationally, you start to look at those things in a more strategic way. When you're getting someone who's going to coach you, they're coaching you to the next level of your business, and something that you may not have uh, known the expertise that you needed. So that's typically why coaches are, paid to get you to the next level, because they are offering you something that you likely don't have. Mentors could be friends, as well as people that you've looked up to, and they typically aren't charging you for anything. It's always great to have a two-way relationship where there's value received from that. So mentors, I will tell you, from my perspective, I'm always honored to share the things that I know. Most of the people that I know that have been a mentor to me are always honored to share what they know. So a lot of people are apprehensive. I don't want to go and ask this person. Maybe they are a millionaire or a billionaire. Maybe they won't be my mentor. I have several that are at those levels, and the conversations are just as valuable for them, because many times people aren't asking them how they got there. They get to reflect on their journeys too when they're sharing some of those things, or even just being honored to hear a little bit of your story. So I think the mentoring piece is important for that reason. You should have them throughout your life. You should seek them. It's absolutely important for you to seek mentors. And I probably won't go through any part of my life without having those, because it's also a different perspective. It's something that I don't know. And I want to avoid as many of those pitfalls as I can. And then I also take it a step further when I am mentoring, and I mentor for other organizations, the Greater Houston Women's Chamber of Commerce. I've mentored with them for a few years, and even have hired some of my mentees as employees, because you recognize some amazing things or connected them with other
Mhm.
jobs. So it's an opportunity that can catapult you into more opportunities, and it also allows you to lock arms with other organizations where you find that you have synergies and you have similarities in the vision that you want to cast for yourself, as an individual or even as a business owner. The value is both ways. So it's not just thinking about I'm giving, giving, giving. You get a lot of reward from that, and especially when you see people are progressing and they're attaining things, and you had a hand in that. That's probably the most rewarding piece.
Wow. So I mean, you talked about journey that leads into the next question of your journey. Can you tell us about the stepping stones and some of your journey into building and creating Creed Global Media to where it is today?
That's a long story. It's a long story, and I always try to shorten it. I'm not sure that I'm really doing a good job of it. It is. It probably started way before I actually started way before I got to Houston. Um, I didn't want to move to Houston. It just happened to be the place that my
Mhm,
sister at the time recommended. She said, "Why don't you come to Houston?" I had been living in Atlanta. I lived in LA. I was in entertainment, music, talent management, and R&B and rap. And when I was in LA, I kept saying, "Gosh, all of our performers, they don't own their own IP. They're not making money off of all of this genius. When they're just getting started, they're so hungry and they want to do their best work. And essentially, when people come out, that's like their best work. And then you might get a couple of gems later, yet they come out really hungry and they have all that creativity, yet they didn't own it. And I always said I was going to open a media company where you know people own their IP, our performers own their IP, and that was really important for me. And then I moved to Dallas and subsequently New Orleans, then moved to Houston and started a radio show, and the radio show catapulted to opening up a studio to help people do the things that I was doing. And essentially, everybody was saying, well, why don't we have an entertainment industry here? And I was like, I don't know. Why don't we? I mean, I
mhm,
haven't been here as long as you have, so why don't we? And I
mhm,
started doing a little bit of research. And with Cree Global Media, we started as production because I had a radio show and I took my show off the radio and started, producing it myself, filming in our studio. And then people started coming to film their own show. Well,
mhm,
as they were coming and they were asking about entertainment, I started to get really curious. And we also started considering what other things we would offer, right? So, besides production and editing and filming and all of those things, what else could we do to help the creative community? And then we got into having the conversations with our previous local government. And they were saying, well, we don't have entertainment here in a very visible way yet. Maybe you can help us do that. And I said, sure, I could do that. So we went to a town hall that had all of our Austin folks as well as Houston folks coming together. And I just put the opportunity out there. Come to my studio for those of
mhm,
you who really want to see a vibrant entertainment industry here in Houston, and let's talk, right? We can do these things together. And they did. About 15, 20 people came and they kept coming every month. And we would have this standing meeting where we addressed the things that we knew Houston needed. And that was studios, incentives. We needed to find all of our creatives, everyone who's an actor, actress, director, producer. We needed to know who those people were.
mhm,
We wanted to make sure that we had classes and certifications and opportunities for them to learn the craft correctly. We needed projects, and those projects would be the things that put them to work. And we needed collaboration. So we're identifying all of these things, and the pandemic happens. We've got our foot on the gas. The pandemic
mhm,
happens, and then the next thing you know, um, we start to receive, and when I say we start to receive, Creek Global Media starts to receive requests to do other things. So we pivoted during the pandemic to
mhm,
do less in studio filming and to do more strategic communications, marketing efforts, media, the things that we were already doing for ourselves. And then we also added streaming app development so that our, television show producers, anyone who had films, anyone who had content could monetize that content. And that, to me, brought me right back to the way I was thinking when I was in LA. Like, gosh, you have all this IP and you're not monetizing off of it. You're taking the quick check. You know, you have all of these deals that essentially keep you in debt. How do we make it so that you own your IP and you're monetizing off of it? So Creed started with one thing, pivoted to another, and we'll probably pivot to a whole host of things because we bring in strategic partners. We're constantly monitoring the market, whether it's government or it's entertainment with content creators, nonprofit, or business, to understand what our business owners need and how helping them to get access to the tools and the tech can help them to find and expand their audiences. And so that's kind of what brought me here. That's what has kept me here for the past 6.5 years, many more to come. Constantly making sure that we are evolving to find the value to add to our clients. So, yeah, it's been amazing.
Well, I mean, you mentioned before that, hey, this is a long story, but I believe any journey that anybody goes in, it's going to be a long story and it's not a quick story. Because
Right.
in order to build that solid foundation, it's going to take time over a period of time. And it's not going to happen, 2 years, 3 years. So it is a long process. So I completely understand when you say, hey, that's a long story. And that's just the reality of, what it is. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. You mentioned strategic communication and so many things that as a business owner or a professional career, pretty much whatever you're doing, you have to be strategic um, in the way that you're doing those things. And of course, based on the direction that, that's going to look different. But can you explain a little bit about strategic communication and how a person, regardless of what career direction they're going, how they should go about doing that?
Yeah, for sure. The first thing is to get really clear about what you're wanting to communicate. What we find, and this is in every space, honestly, it is whether you are a nonprofit, and sometimes even after people have been in business for a very long time, there's still an opportunity to come back and find the right message and the right things to say about your brand that help you to connect with the audience that you want to connect with. So when you're thinking about strategic communications, it is just that. It is intentional communication on what exactly you want to deliver. Your brand is the promise. So how do you communicate that promise? And so our job is to come in and be the experts in that space. So
Mhm,
communicating, listening, understanding what people say, sometimes what they don't say. They might say things like our brand is about people, and it's about all of the things that encompass people, and we want them to know that we're there for them, and
mhm,
we want to know them to know that we have their back. And I'm like, so your brand is about family, and it can be just that simple, and saying, we are family. You're creating taglines, you're creating things that help people to envision what that looks like for you. And then you take that communication, and this is internal and external. So internal is like your core values and the things that you outline for your team so that they understand how to push out that message to your
mhm,
clients. And then externally is everything that we do in your social media or your email marketing or your website, or press releases, or you're actually sending out micro content in other spaces. It could be advertisements that you're doing digitally. How are you communicating that? And when you're doing strategic campaigns, it could be a whole host of other things. Where do those messages end up? And how do you make sure that you're chopping them up and you're making them worded in a way that people understand? Yeah, that's what I got from that, and that's exactly what you wanted them to get from that. So strategic communication is that, and we find that a number of folks know what they want to say, they don't really know how to say it or even
mhm,
how the market is listening. And
mhm.
that's another key. ChatGPT can help you for sure, and some of these
Yeah.
other AI tools, they can help you. Yet you have to make sure that you know that the message that you come up with is touching the audience you want to reach, and it is accomplishing the goal. So every strategic communication is starting out with a plan, and there should be a goal. And by the end of communicating it, you should be reaching the goal. Like, you can't just put messaging out there or put any plan out there from a marketing perspective and not be moving towards a goal, right?
Very, very
Who you
important.
surround yourself with really does matter. The people you associate with and spend time with have a huge impact on who you become and what you do in your life. Hi, my name is Jeff Hagee, and I want to tell you about my Inner Circle Mastermind group. This is a group that's designed to surround you with like-minded high achievers who will help you to think bigger and amplify the performance of your business and your life while tearing down all the barriers that are holding you back. A mastermind is the fastest way to get you to the next level. If you're ready to network and connect with other successful entrepreneurs and influencers, go to coachhagee.com/mastermind.
So, like you're saying, reaching that goal and getting yourself out there, and social media to me is all over the place, right? It's not really doing a lot of stuff that it should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And you have so many that's trying to do this thing of, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna do a recording, let me jump on. Oh, I'm gonna do a podcast, oh, let me jump on." And you see all of these different things, like you've seen them too. I know you have.
Don't put me in this. Don't put me in this.
And it's like, wait a minute, did you think this through, right? Um, are you ready for this part of your business? So when you see these various companies or individuals that's doing media, um, what would you say to someone before you make that move? What are some of the things you need to do to, one, prepare yourself for media and know right now it's not the right time, and it's okay that it's not right now, but work your way to do these things to get you ready for media.
You said it, preparation, right? um, I think social media it's very powerful. I'll tell you, I was not a social media fan. It took
Hmm.
me a very long time to get on there. One, because I'm a private person. Two, because of the things that I did see on social media, and I wasn't really a fan of those things. From a marketing
Hmm.
perspective, sharing that social media is a tool, and it is a tool.
Yeah.
You should use it as a tool. Unfortunately, the way that this tool works, it's constantly evolving. The
Mhm.
algorithms are changing,
Yeah.
and many people are getting a picture in social media that, how it kind of skews the way they can use it, right?
Hmm.
So you might be seeing someone who's posting, every picture of their food, or they are, doing guerrilla posts, like they're all over, the backgrounds are horrible. You don't know what the goal is of their media or their marketing,
Yeah.
message behind it. People feel like they can just pop on and show up however they are without any preparation. And for companies, social media tools can be absolutely amazing, right? They
Yeah.
assist with your budget. They allow you to maximize reach in places where you likely wouldn't be able to get to physically, whether you
Hmm.
host an in-person event, it is an enhancement, or whether you're doing something even virtually like on Zoom. You get to take that, put that in social media, and now the audience has expanded. Now, what I will tell you is that social media is not yours. You don't own it. So
Yep.
my biggest thing for anyone who's doing anything on social media is to take people off of social media, bring them into your world. So once you have connected with them there, now they need to be in something you do own. You might own your own website, which most people do have a working website. And just in case you don't, you need to have one. We do spin those up for our clients as well. Yet you have to have that. And then you've got all these wonderful tools and analytics that tell you whether or not your videos are getting hits. Did you prepare well? Did you get the
Mhm.
right people in your audience? Are you even able to do advertisements that get you to your audience there? So for me, I see social media. I know the value of social media. I don't say much more about not being on it because I am on it. That's essentially how you got to
Mhm.
see some of the things that I'm doing. And I think that is absolutely important. When I first looked at social media and I didn't like what was there, then it's my job to replace what I don't like with something that is valuable. It is
Mhm.
a tool for people to get connected to the right things. And it's it's also a tool for you to help people get connected to the right things and the right people. So my biggest thing is to prepare. Be careful of trends and all of those things that are on social media, and you're like, oh, well, I've got to do it like that. I've got to do it like that. That might not appeal to your audience. So you need to prepare your messaging based upon what your intent is, what your goal is, and who you're trying to reach. There, you've got 2 billion people that are on social media, Instagram, Facebook, at any given time. LinkedIn and Twitter are right behind them. So you have an opportunity to say, I want to hit more professional people. That's LinkedIn. Maybe I want to be more of a thought leader. I want to establish authority and credibility. That's LinkedIn. Maybe you want to do more social things that do incorporate your business. That's Instagram. And when you get to Facebook, there's an audience that's been curated there since the early 2000s. So there's a lot of a social aspect about just life in general. There's groups, there's a whole host of established audiences there that you can talk about social, business, or anything under the sun, essentially, on Facebook, because that audience has been curated for a number of different things. Twitter is hot news, right? Do you want PR or news outlets or people who are just coming there to get their daily dose to find you and what they're going to find that you're offering or you're talking about? Do you want to create, engagement and dialogue in that way where it's going back and forth? And then all of those platforms have expansive tools to engage your audience and talk more. Yet when you do it, the way that you get people to stay connected to you is the consistency and being prepared. Most people do not want to see, something that is thoughtless. They won't tune in for a long time to your posts or like them or anything like that. And you may even lose the audience that you're trying to cultivate because you're trying to be a copycat. So prepare your message for your brand, for your goals, and then you keep being consistent. Because the one thing about these algorithms is they're looking for consistency. You're posting once a week or once a month, you're not going to show up on even your audience's feed. You want to show up on their feed. You have to be intentional and you have to be consistent about the things you're preparing for them. So I think social media is valuable for the right things. Prepare that stuff, stay off trends, and that way you're connecting to the people that you want to consistently. Yeah.
Thank you so much for putting that so eloquently.
It's probably not the popular thought, I'll tell you that. He's like, follow the trends, do the things. And
Yeah.
having fun is good. Just don't get lost in those things where you're forgetting that your message is what's supposed to shine through, right? So
That part right there, don't forget your message. Your
your
message.
message. Yes, be an individual. There's a lot of copycats on
Uh-huh.
social media. And I'm like, didn't I just see this already? I saw, oh, that wasn't you. That was someone else, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, for sure. It's okay to be an individual. That's why it's called individual, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's get into some of the common mistakes. We actually just talked about one of them, but what are some of the common mistakes that is happening when people are getting involved with media?
Mm. I think one of the big things that's happening right now is nobody's researching. You know, uh,
Mm.
the generalization that no one's researching is overreaching. Okay, so I'll retract and say a lot of people are not researching, and individual thought is so important. I feel like we are losing the ability to think on our own, to have our own conscience actually guide us in the things that we're seeing, and we're taking the things that are on social media as though these folks have gone through training, they have researched all their sources, they're providing us with fact and truth all the time.
Mhm.
And social media has become this really sensational platform where it's giving you all of these doses of dopamine and hits of entertainment and excitement. And they're pulling videos and remixing and doing all of these things so that their next post can be exciting. It's like, caption here. Did you see what this person said? I can't believe that you now you're getting the headlines or bringing you in just for you to get something that wasn't well researched and maybe even is propagating lies and untruths. And that's probably one of the most dangerous things about social media is that anyone is a news outlet on social media. We weren't meant to be stimulated in that way, overstimulated in that way. And it does create an a deficit in being able to focus and to have attention. So I would say that that's probably one of the biggest things. And it bothers me because I do research. I do, look outside of social media, which I absolutely recommend that people do. Look outside of social media, go investigate for yourself, don't share things that you have not done the work on. Like, even no matter whether it comes from someone you consider a celebrity or a reputable source, it's still important for you to do your research. People make mistakes, and that's important for them to make sure that, for you to make sure that you're not propagating the mistakes that they're making. So definitely doing your research is the most important thing. That's what I would recommend.
How many times have you gone store to store looking for the perfect party accessories and could never find that perfect design? So you had to settle for what you could find. Look no further. Party Elements has the perfect party decor for any occasion. From cupcake toppers, candy buffet themes, plate settings with the option of custom plates, wine glasses, custom pins, greeting cards, and so much more. Get your custom or ready-made party accessories for any occasion from Party Elements. At Party Elements, entertaining has never been so stylish. Reach out to Party Elements at partyelements.net or Etsy at Party Elements by SD.
So besides making sure that you're doing your research, when it comes to social media, I think you also have to think about what exactly is the tone that you want to set for social media and understand why you want to set it. I would then say the piece that people forget all the time is data and analytics. So not only are you posting, you have to think about it. Social media is meant for you to, yes, be social, yet you have a monetization component there. You should be making money from social media, whether you are driving clients to come to buy services or you are actually selling something on Instagram, right? All of the metrics are important. How do you know whether or not your reel is actually effective or your post is effective without looking at the numbers? And I'm not talking about just looking at how many people liked it. There's a lot of people that ghost through your post and never put a like or anything. That's not really an indication. There are things like impressions. You should be looking at that. Are impressions high? People are looking at it. How long are they looking at your videos? And some of these things also hold true for your website, things that you may have housed there. How long are they looking at your videos? How many impressions are those videos getting? And then the other piece is, are they engaging? So are you asking them things to get them to engage? Is there a call to action on all of your videos? Something that asks them a question that they can respond to, right? Like, what would you do? Would this be a service that you would recommend? Tag someone here that does blah, blah, blah. You're giving them something to do in those, and are they actually following the actions? And when you go to look at all of those analytics tell you something. So you have some of them inside of each of the platforms, yet think about when you have a post that tells someone to go to your website. How do you know whether or not they went to your website? Most people aren't even looking at their website stats, looking in the back end to see how many people visited their website. At my company, we sit and we go through this with our clients on a frequent basis. We're letting them know, hey, this is how many people are coming to your website, and this is where they came from. Wouldn't it be helpful for me to know that I sat on a podcast, I posted a clip of the podcast, 1,000 people had impressions on the video, even though only 230 people liked it. 30 people commented on it, right? And then out of that 1,000, 500 of them actually went to the link to watch it. Wouldn't that be helpful for you to know? Most people don't look at those things. Data and analytics, like when it's not written, it's not real. When you don't know the numbers behind it, you really don't know how it's performing. So I think about the fact that you need to research and understand what's going on with social media as one of the tips. Yet two, in order to understand those things and understand what you're doing well or what you're not doing well, you need to be looking at the data and analytics so that when you go to prepare content, right, when you go to do anything, whether it's television streaming content or it's website content or email marketing, social media, you're looking at those analytics to tell you, hey, we probably shouldn't do that again because that didn't work, that didn't land, or that did work, that did land. How many variations of this, or what else can we do that's very similar, right? That still attracts our audience, that focuses on the things our audience wants to see. So those analytics are going to be key. And I know it's a bear for folks because they're like, I don't really care about the numbers. They're so excited about the likes. And I'm like, yeah, you didn't make any money though. Did anybody click on that?
Yeah.
I mean, what is the goal? We're getting back to the
Right.
goal. The messaging should be intentional so we can get to the goal. The goal you said you wanted more clients. You don't want more clicks. You want more clients, right? So we always have that in mind, and we use the data to tell us where we need to make tweaks. So those are the two things that I'd recommend first and foremost.
Thank you so much, Centrell. This has been an exciting conversation, and this is one of the conversations where it could turn into a series. There's just so much
For
packed
sure.
in
Yeah,
there that
yeah.
can just be said and put out there. But before we get out of here, what are some key things that you want to leave for anyone that wants to get their brand out there, whether social media, traditional media, or whatever it is? What are those things to get yourself ready to get out there and make sure you are representing your brand,
Yeah.
like you really want to get those clients and not clicks?
Ooh, so clients and not clicks, let me tell you, show up right?
Mm,
Professional. People forget that we're all human. It doesn't matter whether you and I are friends. I'm going to be looking at you to see whether you run your business professionally, because not only will I decide whether or not I'm going to work with you, whether you're my friend or not, I'm going to decide whether I like you or whether I trust you in business for me to come to you, right? And a lot of people, I think now, because we are so casual and we're easy to connect on social media, we think we have friends. A lot of those are just associates. We forget that being professional, and there was a space where you did have to show up professionally. Being professional is important. People do business with people they know, like, and trust, and that's over time. And I'm watching you and I'm watching the things that you do in social media. So social media, you've got personal and you've got business stuff on there, and they're mixing, and the messages are, like oil and water. Like one minute you're doing one thing, another minute you're doing something else, and they're not aligning. I'm not coming to you for business. It's just not going to happen. So I think that understanding that piece of being a professional, showing up no matter where you are, to be ready to do business, right? So you want to get clients versus clicks, then it is staying ready. I can't tell you how many times I have gone somewhere and someone called me for an opportunity and I wasn't dressed for the opportunity. And this was years ago. You won't catch me slipping now. Yeah, years ago, years ago, I would have been ready for just that one thing. And now you'll catch me wearing something that's versatile enough that I could go from having a social gathering to going to a business meeting. So stay ready. And I know you've heard that in a number of perspectives. Yet definitely stay ready. And the other piece of, doing business is collaborate, guys. I mean, I look at things that I've grown through in my business, and I'm talking about constantly learning how to be prepared, understanding that I'm carrying out my purpose and what that looks like. And when I am looking at a space that I'm not the genius in, so I have a lot of big picture thoughts. I am project management certified. I can bring together resources. I can look at talent. I can help grow talent in the spaces that I am a genius in. So I want to operate in that genius zone. I want to spend my time. It's the most valuable piece of me. I want to spend my time cultivating those things, meeting with key stakeholders, putting together opportunities, and putting together teams that have expertise to carry them out.
Mhm.
When it comes to your media brand, and I share this with people all the time, you miss money and you lose money because you want to do it all. We are not chief everything officers, right? You should be a CEO that focuses on your business, not in your business, and then you need to invest in those pieces where people are experts. Because when I bring team members on and I watch how they march to those performance indicators, how they are carrying out their job, they know it better than I do. They've been in that space. That's what you hired them for. And when clients tell me, oh, they run their own social media, yet they don't know anything about algorithms, they know nothing about how to structure messaging or even how to do graphics professionally. And I say you need to invest in making sure that you have someone professionally do it. Yes, I say invest because there's definitely going to be a budget attached to that. Yet it is the worst thing to think that you can go and get just a volunteer, which when you get someone who volunteers, where you can't depend on the fact that they're going to be consistent or even have knowledge, right? It's not about just having a body in the seat. You need to have someone who has expertise so they can help you with strategy because you're spending the time.
Yeah.
Don't spend the time on something that's not effective. So I always say invest in your business by getting the right people to do things. And that investment does not mean that you have to always come out of your pocket. Now, you think about, I may not have a big budget to do that. Well, then you start. There's nothing wrong with the humble beginning. And that humble beginning could be one or two posts a week or something of that nature. Yet the other piece of that is I could come to you and I could say, you know what? I love what you're doing in your business. I have something that I can offer to you, and you have something you can offer to me. And this happens at all levels of business. I want to make sure that I say this. A number of people feel like, oh, well, I can't offer that to a multi-million dollar business. You absolutely can offer that to a multi-million dollar business. You're an expert in a space, and that's going to add value to them. It's time that they don't have to spend and money they don't have to spend. It's the same thing for you. And then you exchange those goods and services until you get to a point where you're both actually able to invest in those goods and services with each other's business. Yet you have to crawl before you walk. And the most important thing about a CEO is you've got to be strategic, you've got to be creative. And collaboration is an amazing way to be creative. So I would recommend those things. You show up professionally, you stay ready, and don't think you're the expert in everything. Go find experts, link arms, or invest in those services so that your business can get to the next level. So,
Wow, thank you so much. And I'm just a sponge over here. I'm just, soaking it all in, and I'm like, wow, this could be such an amazing series that is actually needed for so many that
yeah,
um don't know what questions to ask
yeah,
or what to look for. And it's one of the things, if you don't know, you don't know. And providing something like this for them to actually see, relate to, and understand it can help them take that next step or two steps to
yeah.
do some of the things that they want to do, and continuously be consistent as they're climbing to grow and get bigger, get those larger clients. So thank you so much for taking the time to jump on and just talk and share all of these nuggets that you have been dropping today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And for those who want to stay connected to our initiatives, you can find me at Centrell Reed on all your social media. Creed Global Media, that's CREED Global Media on all your social media. And for those of you who are active in the entertainment industry or are advocates for entertainment and the arts, and especially in the greater Houston region, you can go to iepgreaterhou.org or IEP Greater HOU on all of your social media. I am extremely excited and thankful to be on your set. Thank you so much for having me. And I think maybe we should do a communication series for business owners. Yes, I think that would be pretty cool because you're right. We get a lot of questions, and to have platforms like this and know that those questions exist, we probably should find a way to help people level up in that space, especially post pandemic. A lot of people are inside. They're starting to come outside, yet there's something introverted about the outsideness. So, How do we help people to get a little more confident after being, shaken up by a pandemic to start talking a little bit more and stepping out so that they can really thrive in their businesses. And I'm a huge advocate for that. So communication, it's time to talk. We need to talk.
It's time. Look, that's the time. It's time to talk. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And see you next time on Sustainable Growth.
Absolutely.
Follow us on our Instagram at SavvyMagBiz and on our YouTube channel, Savvy, the Business Podcast. Thank you for joining us on Savvy, the Business Podcast. If you want to be a guest, send an email to media@savvymag.biz. That's media@savvymag.biz. Don't miss out on the opportunity to be heard by millions.